Erika, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited as well. And I want everyone to know that you are a social media strategist who helps business owners simplify Instagram and grow organically without chasing trends or relying on quick hacks, which is so important for our audience. And I know that over the years, you've worked with many entrepreneurs who have felt stuck, overwhelmed, and frustrated with their lack of results, and you've been able to show them how to turn content into a tool that actually works for their business, which again is so important for everyone watching because we're all feeling this way. And I'm so excited to hear about your approach.
Yeah, and for me, what I've noticed, there's a lot of information out there on Instagram. Oh, you need to do this, you have to follow this long, big structure to create your content. But in reality, you don't need that. You need to simplify everything because when you complicate, like you have those 9 steps to create content, it gets overwhelming, it gets stressful, and then people just leave this, when we have those tasks during the day, like, oh, I will do this at 12 o'clock. Oh, I still have to do this. So usually the tasks we don't like, especially in this case, the content creation goes to the last bit. And then you're like, oh, I will do it tomorrow. And, it's like,
That
I'll
you
do
get
it on
pushed on,
Monday.
or
Same
you
thing.
end up doing it and you're tired. And if you're tired, and I find if I'm tired and if I'm not in the right mood or the right energy, then whatever I create, it really ends up in the void, where nobody ends up seeing it or commenting or anything like that. It misses. So it's like everything that I did was wasted anyway. And if I had just, like you said, simplify it a little bit, might make it
Yeah,
easy.
and sometimes it can be even those simple trends. Like the one I did recently was I love cats. I have a cat, and there was this trend where behind every business owner there is a cat who knows all the company secrets. And the video was like you are sitting there on your the cat is either on your lap, or it took me like 30 seconds, even less than a minute to record. Simple, real content, published, all done.
Oh,
Like you're consistent with such a simple post.
that is awesome. I can't wait to get into more of this. So many coaches, consultants, and founders that are showing up on Instagram, they really do feel like they're spinning their wheels. So they feel like they're posting, all of their posts are ending up in the dark abyss, like I explained, and wondering if their effort is really worth the results. So before we dive into the specifics, can you share a little bit about your philosophy and why clarity, consistency, and strategy matter more than chasing the trends?
It helps you to build connections because when you have that clarity, you're confident in what you do. And the thing that people miss is you can see when someone is not confident. You can see when you're just posting content from AI. I mean, everything is visible there. And that is something that a lot of people need to understand. So instead of, just chasing those trends, also just because your post went viral, it doesn't guarantee sales. It doesn't guarantee the right followers who are in your audience. And, it's just like a big dream that everyone is chasing, but you can make a lot of money. You can have a lot of conversations in your DMs when you have less followers than, those 100K, for example. It's not what, that shiny outside that matters. It's what happens in your DMs, in your comments, how you handle the situations, how confident you are in sharing your posts. Because if you don't have that viral post, it doesn't mean that you're not successful. This is just something people chase, but like I said, what matters the most is how you connect with people, and you can connect better with. It's better to connect with a smaller audience than not connect to anyone when you have huge audience.
That is so important to get across, and I'm so glad that you brought it up because if you can't follow up effectively with somebody with a post that has 10 comments on it, how are you going to follow up with a post that has 1,000 or 2,000? So
Exactly.
the other thing is that by paying attention as you're small and as you're growing, you're really developing your relationships with the people that are following you. And by doing that, also, you're also developing the systems that allow you to be able to follow up at a much larger scale, so that if you do go viral, then you can capitalize on it. Most of the people who have gone viral that I talk to, they never capitalized on it. It was great. It boosted their ego, but they weren't able to follow up. They didn't have anything in the process to be able to capitalize on it. So that post going viral actually did nothing for their business, but maybe set them farther back because they were not focused on the things to create the systems to help them along.
Yeah, I also heard stories where people say their post went viral, and it actually sadly went viral to the wrong audience, to the audience which is not their ideal audience. So even though it went viral, they didn't get sales, they didn't get a customer out of it. And I mean, in this case, really, you went viral, exactly like you said. It was, nice to feel it. It lifted their ego, but that's it. It didn't give you money, it didn't give you clients, it didn't give you anything.
No, and in your case, hearing that story, it probably wasted their time a lot too, because if they were following up, they were following up with all of the wrong clients.
Yeah. These things happen.
So another question that people often ask me is, what about content types? And with the different content types for the different social media platforms, it's often easy to get confused. So can you break down the difference between reels, static posts, and carousels?
This is actually a question I noticed a lot of people feel a little ashamed to ask, especially people when they say they used other platforms, so like Facebook, for example, LinkedIn, and when they decide to go to Instagram, they're like, okay, this is a new platform, I don't know how to navigate it. And the thing is, there is no stupid question, there is no silly question, and everyone has their Instagram journey at different levels. And a lot of people say like, I'm sorry, but what's the difference? They don't know. They feel a little scared, like this is a silly question, but it's really not. And just to simply explain, a reel is a very short form video that you can maybe record yourself talking. Maybe you can use something that you recorded. You can add text. So basically it's a video, short video, under 30 seconds. Static post and carousel. So static post is just one single image. It can be something you create on Canva. And the carousel on the other side, it's something you see as a one post, but you can continue seeing more, like you swipe and you see more images. So it can be 5, 10, or maximum the 20 on Instagram. And yeah, I get this question a lot, and I actually think it's a great question, because sometimes the problem is in the basics. When someone doesn't know simple things, they get stuck, and this is something that is limiting them from, feeling more confident and actually utilizing the platform.
Oh, thank you for answering it and making it so simple as well. And then also removing that fear about asking questions, because I think that is a really important thing. And I find myself in that too. When you think something's a basic question, but something's been around as long as it has, and you feel like you should know it. So you took away that shame. So I appreciate that. Now let's talk about that a little bit more. So is there a frequency, or is there when do you post a reel? When do you post a static post? And when do you do a carousel? What type of content, or what is your objective for each?
There is a common misbelief that I always try to break whenever I speak, that you only should post reels because they are the ones that are performing best, like they are increasing your reach. However, it's really not true. I mean, everything depends on your particular unique audience. If, let's say, your audience really interacts, you have higher reach on your carousels than on your reels. So this is definitely a sign that you should post more carousels, because the answer is actually in your insights. You have to look at your insights and then you see, okay, over the last, let's say, 10 days, I posted 10 posts. Out of the 10 posts, my top, even 7, let's say, of them are carousels. This is your sign, your indicator that you should do more carousels. You should analyze, okay, did the hook work? Maybe it was a storytelling post. Maybe it was something, what I love posting, and I noticed my audience loves as well, is my lessons, like the difficult clients I had, how I handled the situations, and what was the outcome. People love reading these storytelling posts. So if someone tells me, okay, you need to post more funny reels, but my audience likes to see this, it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying that no to reels, you only should post carousels. No, you need to look at your insights. If, let's say, your insights say you need to post more reels, this means, your reach is better, your engagement is better, then definitely this is your strong part. You need to post more reels. So the answer is in your insights, and you cannot say post one or over the other. You can mix, but you can have your main focus on, let's say, like I said, in carousels. However, carousels and reels have higher engagement rates and higher reach. So it's kind of, I can actually say maybe single post sites are slowly dying, or they have lower reach than carousels and reels, but I cannot say like you should only post one.
Well, and I love that you bring people back to their insights. I'm very into data, and data really can help you strategize much clearer and have fewer failures, but it can also increase your success. But with data, there is the problem of too little data sometimes to make a decision. I find that a lot of people will make a big decision, like what their content is going to be for the future, and have it on too little data. So when you're looking at that, what is a good amount? Is it in the engagement? Is it in the number of posts that you actually do? What should you look at for your baseline for your insights?
So let's say, well, with the insights, you cannot see detailed breakdown when you have less than 100 followers. You just cannot see the insights. So the very first goal in that case is to actually hit that number, so then you can tell more. Of course, there are also general guidelines. So for example, when you should post, so it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, just before everyone goes to work. Then it's the evening between 6 and 7 p.m. after work. But again, everything is in your insights. So when you don't have access to that, you can rely on either these recommended posting times, or you can, what I love doing is testing everything. So you can do, let's say, 1 week you post in the mornings, so it can be 9 or 8 o'clock. Then the second week you post in the evenings or in the afternoons. So for example, it can be second week it's 3 p.m. Third week you are posting maybe 6 to 7 p.m. in between that time. And then you actually compare what timing actually had, like when you posted in the mornings, maybe you noticed that you had higher engagement rates. Maybe you got more likes, more comments. So this means this is the best posting time for you. And when you hit that 100, let's say, in case you cannot see them yet, when you hit that, you will see a breakdown of your followers. So what is the most active time for your followers? And then it can give you more specific time. When you actually posted between 8 and 9 o'clock, maybe your posting time is actually 7 a.m. So then you will see more detailed. And everything is about testing and not being afraid to test. So like I said, 1 week, one time, second week, second time. It's all, testing and seeing what works and what doesn't.
I love it. And you can do that with testing the reels and the carousels and the static posts, doing something similar, where maybe you post all 3 in 1 week if you do that, or maybe but you're heavier on one than the other. Or it might be a good idea maybe just to post reels 1 week and then static posts the next, and carousels. That might give a clearer picture, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you test, this is when you see. And then, of course, it's important not to fall into this trap where people, let's say, they test a few types of content and maybe one was a bit more difficult or took maybe a bit more time to create. And then they post it. That post, let's say, gets more engagement. And they look at it and, I mean, everything is so wide. Oh, okay, so this post had like a lot of engagement, but they continue posting something that is easy for them or is interesting for them, rather than what's interesting for the audience. So that's a thing, something that people need to keep focus on. Like, you look at your post, okay, so if this post performed well, maybe you shared educational tips how to. So this means your audience wants to see more educational content rather than, let's say, motivational posts like quotes. I know a lot of people love to share them, but instead some people go to, that easy road where you just do something simple, something quick, instead of, staying focused.
So easy is not always better, is what I heard there. And I think also giving ourselves a little grace. If you're posting 3 static posts a week and that's your goal to do 3, and you find out that an educational reel might be a better thing, but it takes you longer, maybe instead of saying, no, I'm not going to do the educational reel, maybe you say, no, I'm not going to post 3 times a week, but instead I'm going to post 1 high quality every week, right?
Well,
no.
I'm not sure.
You still have to post frequency, right?
I mean, frequency really matters. If you post, I think the minimum that you should post is 3 times a week. If you post less, really, it's not enough to keep your followers engaged. And also, it's important not to forget stories, because also this is the very first indicator that shows that you're active, especially when you post, let's say, 2 to 3 times a week. But also, it's an amazing place to connect with people, especially when, let's say, you just take your phone, you take a picture. Maybe you went, hiking over the weekend, you upload some pictures. There are so many people who can relate to that. Oh, I've been to that mountain. Oh, I've been there too. Oh, what was your experience? You look lovely, for example. Oh, you have a dog or a cat. That's wonderful. Like, you get a lot of conversations. So not only it's important to upload your posts, but not to forget your stories as well. And going back to the posts, yes, 3 times is the minimum. And especially when I work with someone who hasn't been consistent, who isn't confident, we always start, it's important to start small. So when you're building habit and confidence, then you can start for, let's say, 2 weeks to post 2 times a week or 1, because here is the starting point. We're building a habit, and then you increase it to 3 posts and then to 4 posts, let's say, a week. So it's all about habit.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for that. And let's talk about the hook. What exactly is a hook? And how do you choose the right one to grab attention, but not have it feel gimmicky or salesy?
Another great question. And a hook is basically a very short 1-sentence text that you put either on your very first carousel, or you put it like in the first 3 seconds of your video content. And the purpose of it is to capture the attention. So instead of saying, let's say, 10 carousel ideas, or 10 story ideas, for example, it sounds very boring, like, okay, 10 ideas, that's fine, and then you swipe to the next post. But instead you can say 10 story ideas that you can create in less than 5 minutes. Then it makes it interesting. Okay, so this is very fast. And then you want to see what are the ideas that I can even do right now, because they take less than 5 minutes. So it's all about making your post interesting in 1 sentence. And to make them interesting, it's not like you don't need to go to, let's say, AI, ChatGPT, and ask, okay, give me 10 hooks. This is what people like to do. Okay, give me or a hook for this post. They get 1 option and then they post it, and then people often are surprised, okay, why it's not performing. Because it sounds like just every single other hook out there, and often they are overused. So the key is actually to make it interesting. And here is my little trick with AI. So let's say you have your post and you want to have your hook interesting. You don't just say, give me a hook. You say, give me 10 hooks for me to choose from. And then you give more guidance. So make it interesting, or mention this point, or maybe sometimes we even have the beginning of the hook that we want to say. Like I said, 10 story ideas. And then it can give you more options. And the more options you have, also it also it inspires you, like, okay, maybe I want to add this. So you kind of start creating as well. Use AI to help you, not to do it for you. Even let's say maybe you've seen a hook that is so overused, but you really want to use it. You can ask AI to make it interesting. So you can even ask to combine, this is what I have, this is the hook that I have. Combine it into one. So that's another great way to create interesting hooks. And also you can always do research, because hooks also, they are trends, they come and they go. And it's important to do your research and see, okay, what are people are talking about right now? What kind of posts they are using? What kind of hooks they are using? So you can always write down the ideas. And it all comes to research and then again, putting things together.
I love it. And I love that you tell people not to use AI kind of just out of the box, right? If you want it to sound like a computer, then it will. But if you really, in today's age, I think what is grabbing attention is when you can see that human element. And I definitely use AI a ton. I love it as a brainstorming partner, but I do find the more that I give it of me, then that keeps me in the equation. And then it isn't just something that everybody else is using, right? Because everybody's not me.
Yeah, and I can actually share a little secret what I like to do. When I want to personalize, it even applies to hooks. I use my dictation and then I just speak and I can see the text in front of me appearing. And then at the end I say, write this hook, or rewrite this paragraph, or write this paragraph, like whenever I put everything that I want to say. Sometimes it's a mess in my head, but I need to put it into structures. And then I say, rewrite this in my tone, in my words, the way I just explained. Don't use anything fancy, focus on my tone and my words. And it helps me a lot, really.
I love it. I do that exact same thing, Erika. I love that you share that. Yay. So let's talk a little bit about hashtags, because I see so many different things about hashtags, and I know every platform is different, but on Instagram, are hashtags still relevant? How do you use them in 2025 if they are?
In 2025, even the Instagram's god, as I like to call him, Adam Mosseri, publicly explained hashtags don't work anymore like they used to. So sadly, we can forget about them. We can, of course, go still on Instagram. We can search for things, but now they even changed the search bit on Instagram, that you can see the viral posts, and it doesn't help as much as it used to, sadly. So yeah, you don't need to put all those 30 hashtags in your post, because they will not help you anymore.
Quit researching the hashtags. We can give that up, right?
Yes.
So let's go back to reels and videos. A lot of members feel shy sometimes showing up on videos and being that face. So what kind of content can someone share if they don't want to show their face all the time, if they don't want to be the face of the company?
Another great question. I get asked this a lot, and I work on this with my clients. And when you don't want to show your face, and then again, it applies to both service providers and especially product providers, because often product providers feel like they also need to show up like with their product. And there are endless options for faceless reels, faceless content. So you can always take your phone, let's say in the morning, for example, for stories. You can always, when someone is building confidence, it's important first to get used to actually having camera with you. So this means getting used to taking pictures of your daily life. And it can be maybe you're having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea in the morning, and then you just put it nicely on your table, maybe next to your laptop, and then you just take a picture of it. And then you can post it. So that's one example of the faceless reel. And most important thing is you are behind the camera, not in front of it. So you take images, videos that are in front of you. Like I said, cup of coffee, maybe you're going for a walk, maybe you've seen a beautiful sunset. you record a quick, let's say 5-second video of that sunset. Same way, maybe you're walking, maybe you see something beautiful in nature, a butterfly even. You just record it or take a picture. This is a faceless reel, and it can be used, for example, at the sunset. Maybe you're a service provider, and let's say maybe you're a coach, but this maybe feels a little shy to show up. You can start posting this type of content, and then naturally the next step would be to just take a simple selfie, or maybe a picture from a while ago when someone took of you, and then you just upload the picture. So it's always starting with little steps. So when you get used to taking pictures of your surroundings, of maybe when you go out, your cup of coffee, your workspace, behind the scenes has a lot of different options there. You can share your work, you can share, okay, you take a picture, I'm working on a client project, and then you can explain what it is about. And once you get into the habit of taking pictures of what's in front of you, then the next step you can do is actually share a simple picture of you. And this is how you build a habit.
I absolutely I love those ideas. And so many, I post a lot, but I'm really bad behind the camera and taking in. So you gave me a lot of ideas that I need to put into play myself. So I appreciate that.
I love coffee cup aesthetic. Whenever I go, I love going out for coffee. And it's like a tradition for me to go maybe every week, every 2 weeks. And I always take pictures. So you will find a lot of them on my phone. But actually, really, I can reuse them. You can even record with a little movement, a cup of coffee at the coffee shop. Usually they have nice aesthetic. And then you just record it 5 seconds, and then you use it as a reel. You add your hook, and then you can say, okay, read the caption for more, and you put all the details in the caption. You're not showing your face, you're just showing a beautiful cup of latte, for example, or cappuccino, and it fits well with the aesthetic.
Great ideas. And another big question we hear about is about consistency. So we talked a little bit about that. And I know you said we've talked about 3 to 4 times. Is there ever a time where we would even ramp it up to 7 times a week, or is 3 to 4 a good sweet spot?
It depends what your strategy is. And, for example, if you're into more, let's say, more rapid growth, if you're actually chasing those viral trends, for example, then the posting is even more intense. It can go up to 2 times a day. So that's 14 posts a week. But if you want to keep consistency, if you want to show up, the best posting times would be minimum, like I said. I mean, the thing what I do is when someone comes to me who wasn't consistent, who was struggling, and I think it's a big mistake that also other social media managers make, is to give a person who is very shy or inconsistent to post 7 times a week. It's just overwhelming. It's too much, because in the beginning, it's all about building a habit, because the person came to you because they don't know how to do it. It's stressing them out. So it's more important to simplify the process. So you simplify the content creation, and also you don't put so much tasks on them, like you have to do a post a day. So you build a habit. So they are getting used to creating the content, planning their content, adding it into their daily routine. And then once they get used to it, so they know okay, this is when we create, they get faster at it, then you can increase it to 4 times a week posting, 5 times a week, and then you can increase it even to 7 if it's within their goal. But if you want to stay consistent, show up, the best, if we are talking numbers, minimum of 3 posts and daily stories. So daily 7 stories a year.
Okay, daily stories.
Something very simple, like on stories, we have a lot of options. We can post questions where people can ask us anything. We can post quizzes. People love quizzes because it's so simple. You give an option and then they vote. We can do quizzes. We can do behind the scenes. We can do, again, coffee aesthetic. There are so many options. Maybe there is a beautiful sunrise. Maybe it's beautiful sunset. You can do a lot of things. It's not difficult. The stories are the easiest ones.
I love it. So this has been so helpful, Erica. And before we wrap up, if someone's feeling overwhelmed and unsure where to start, even after all of this, what's the first small step that they can take to get traction on Instagram today?
I would say it's important to listen to one advice, because when you go online, it's noise. It's a lot of things out there, and people say, okay, I need to post 3 times. Then they go somewhere else. They say, like, if you want to grow, you have to post 7 times. So it's more important to be consistent with one strategy rather than picking bits from every single thing. Like, keep your focus there, and especially when you're growing, in the beginning, growth can be slower. And I mean, this same thing applies to business as well. The first year, let's say, when you just start your business, it's never easy. It's not like all nice and flowers. It's difficult. It will challenge you, but same thing applies to growth as well. Until you stay focused. You don't, fall off your track to follow, okay, this and that, and you pause, then someone said something else, you scrap everything. You pick one strategy, you test it, you see, okay, it doesn't work, then we pick a second one. So if someone is struggling, stay focused.
I love it. And you gave many, many tips on how to stay focused. And I know you have something special for our audience as well. So I'd love to hear about that and how that they can get in touch with you if they have any further questions or if they'd like to work with you.
Yes, so I'm on Instagram and I'm on LinkedIn, and if someone has a question, so there will be either 3 ways they will get a reply: a very long text message, a voice message, or even I will do a whole webinar, which is something I've done in the past. So one of the 3. So yes, I'm on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and something very special I have prepared for next month actually is the webinar, which is about content ideas calendar. So this is something that I came up with. Like, everyone is, out there, we have a lot of content planners, content calendars, where you go there, it's the whole month, and it has the visual, it has the caption, it has the hashtag. So basically it's the whole month's content there. And when people say, oh, we can create this in 1 hour. No. With AI, yes, when you don't pay attention, when the content is not connecting, and with generic content, yeah, you can do it. But with my content ideas planner, we simplify it. So it's not about the posts, it's about having ideas. So we do the analysis, okay, what kind of posts are trending? We write down the topics, and then we write the topics into the calendar. And we start with just 3 posts. Like I said, this is the minimum. So we start with 3 posts a week, and we just write the topics. And then we write, okay, so this will be a carousel, this will be a reel. And then that's optional. We can add call to action as well. So like follow or leave a comment, for example. And then we plan it for the whole month. And it simplifies the process. You don't need to worry about, okay, I have to post, I don't know what to post. Because you have a calendar in front of you, you are an expert in what you do. And when you do, let's say, your content weekly, you open the calendar and then you see, okay, on Monday I will do a post on 3 tips. And then you just write the post, and that's it. It's simplified. Instead of having the whole calendar or having to create it in one go, God, that's so overwhelming. Really, that's stressful.
It is.
So yes, do a webinar on how to create this calendar, with guidance, how to put things, how to do it, and yeah.
I love that you're doing that. That is exactly how I create my content, by the way. So yeah, we're right on track. So I love using AI again as support, but if you use it to create everything, you're just going to be like everybody else, and it's not going to have you. It's not going to feel authentic. I think it's really important too, when you do have AI support you with anything, it's really important to read it before it gets sent out. Don't just think it's perfect, because the times that I have used AI to even supplement it, even when I give it exactly what I want, it will sometimes create a story. Like, I'll tell what story I want to create, and it creates something completely false. And it's like, you don't want that going out, because somebody's going to ask you about it, and you want to be authentic and you want to be real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's important.
Well, Erica, I really appreciate everything that you've shared with us today. It's been great getting to know you and hearing so many great tips. Now I know why my Instagram has not been performing quite as well as I would love. And it really isn't Instagram, it was probably me. So I will give it another shot.
Thank you so much for having me. And I mean, I'm very happy that I get to share this with you, with your audience. And my goal is always to, after every conversation I have, to leave someone with a thought in their mind that can actually make their life easier. So I truly hope that it helped to achieve this.
You definitely did. Thank you again.
Thank you.